any harder. I tell you what, anytime me and Michelle get ready to do something, it is just a hoot. So
We have a
everybody,
good
welcome.
time.
Welcome to another edition of Build It Live Trailers. Getting ready for our wonderful event, Build It Live 2022, coming up July 27th through 29th. And I have a special guest with me. Number two, I hope we're on video. If anyone in the chat can confirm we're on video, the last time something happened with our video, so it went like awry. But I have Michelle Ragusa McBain with me, my good friend. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic because I'm with you, Mr. Juan Fernandez. So how are
Oh,
you
okay.
doing?
I'm doing great. I don't know if I've laughed this hard. I feel like I'm almost crying as I walked into this thing. Today's today's gonna be super special, and I'm really excited to have you back on because we always seem to have such a great time. But we are talking about something really fun today, and I think that it's all about having a discussion around MSP rock stars and what makes them happen, what makes that happen, and some of those things. But I'm really excited to have that chat because I think that we're going to cover some really great content. So for those of you that are with us today and you're getting a chance to hear some of these tips and tricks that me and Michelle are going to bring, she's got tons of great knowledge, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more about that. So I wish I did have an air guitar though. Like,
Oh, that's a great call out. I know. I could borrow one for my husband. I used to have drums, but I have like
get
little T-Rex arms, so that, like I'm not a good drummer, but it's my goals. I want to do it. Long-term goals, right? We all need them.
so for those of you that are joining us today, again, thanks for popping in here. We're going to have a really good time. I'm really looking forward to have. But Michelle, for those of you who don't know her, she is your title is the Provider Elevate Leader for the Global Partner Organization for Cisco. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And what that means in like layman's terms really is just this, that I am on a mission to help bring Cisco's end-to-end solution and story about our provider program, which is our new program for managed service providers around the world, really getting them excited about what we do and how we're double clicking on this space. I've been at Cisco. I'm a boomerang, so this is my 14th year, my first year back. But traditionally, a lot of people think of Cisco as more enterprise or more upstream, and we of course value and have really strong relationships in that space. But I get the really fun and exciting role of leading almost a startup within Cisco, a great team, the Provider Elevate team. So working with incredible people like Mesa and Rachel and Andrea and Amari and wonderful teammates around the world who help us both create offers, programs, engagements, acceleration, education, and more for MSPs. But more importantly, we're listening and we're learning what's working, what's not, and what can we do to make your lives better. So we have an expression at Cisco and our team: together we elevate, and that's our goal.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that story. I love what you guys are doing. Your title, obviously, it speaks a volume about your passion, Michelle, and it's really a great honor to see you follow that and be able to help the channel elevate. It's really special, and hats off to you and Cisco for stepping in and leaning in the partner arena. I think that's been much needed for a long period of time in all aspects of vendor partnerships. So hats off to you guys for being one of the first to do that. It's really great.
I love it. Yeah, no, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to help be a part of this mission, be a part of this change. It's a very exciting time for Cisco. We're seeing immense growth with our partners, and that's a lot of what we're here to talk about. Those MSP rock stars who are
Yeah.
making it happen. We're doing incredible things in our ecosystem. And that's what I love to see. Oh, and a shout out Neil Medwed. There's an MSP rock star right
No
now.
doubt, no doubt. There's a legend in his own. Oh, come on, Neil. We should have brought Neil in. That's what we should have done
Yes. Next time, I'm all in.
next time.
Neil, you're
So you know me, Michelle. I love to start off the day with a trivia question, and for everyone that's joining in today, you have a chance to not only win some great advice and some great tips and tricks and lots of great content and education, But one of the things also is Cisco's done is so nice is we're actually also giving away 2 free tickets today, and there is a trivia question, and that trivia question is, Michelle?
Okay, now, so this is pretty simple. So if you were on our previous webinar, you should know, or if you were at our most recent event, you should know, or if you follow me on social. So it's a low curveball, going in easy for you guys. The first 2 people to respond in the chat get these tickets. What is the name of our new Cisco managed service provider mascot? Go.
Yeah. All right.
Google.
So for those, yeah, and if you guys are already coming to the show, or you guys are someone who you can't make it, or whatever it is, we're excited to have you. You can give away these tickets. So please don't let your guest stop you from putting it in the chat. So we want to engage with you guys today because we think this is going to be really fun. So again, love it. You know, obviously put it in the chat. Let's have a conversation around it. What is the Cisco MSP mascot? We will announce that at the end of the show. So, Michelle, all right. So,
But wait. I have a special before we get started. We got a shout out from your fearless leader, another badass woman in technology, Miss Cam. You, my friend, are. And I am super
there you
thrilled.
go.
You know,
And
now you
she's
know we're
probably
live.
calling.
And I just want to ask everybody in the chat window who's going to build it live, happening right around the corner in July. We're going to be there. We're sponsoring. And speaking of amazing women in technology, we are going to be hosting a co-ed, women and men, what women want. It's not what you think. Breakfast. So we'll have breakfast. There's your hyperlink. Make sure you all join us. This is not just for women. This is for everybody because we need allies together. So please join us. I'm so excited. I just had to shamelessly plug that. I'm really stoked.
No, and you're 100% right. Shout out to Cam, our fearless leader that's put together Build It Live 2022. She's in the house, she's in the chat. For you guys out there, you know, definitely interact with her there and say thanks for all the hard work that she puts in and day out. It is all of this is because she had a passion to educate the MSP channel, and we really do appreciate that. So thanks, Cam. Much love to you out there. So we got some guesses coming in. But
Ooh,
we can't say it yet. We can't
until we
say
have
it yet.
two. Okay, got it.
I
Got
know
good.
we got a couple. So keep the guesses coming. Keep the guesses coming. And for those of you that are joining us, interact with the chat. Definitely. We love to hear a lot of what we're going to talk about today. If you got some good tips or tricks that have worked for you in your MSP, share them. This is all about community. That's what Build It's about. It's about building a community of people that are helping educate others. And this is why me and Michelle love to jam out so much on this topic, because it's all about raising that tide. And obviously Cisco leaning in with, you know, elevating MSPs as well. So let's jump into it.
Sure.
Let's talk about it. So one of the themes of this was, you know, rocking out with your socks out. Now, I don't know how many other people that's dating, but when I said it, I was like, oh, me and Michelle are definitely gonna love that one. I actually, in the morning meeting, I showed my socks, and I don't know if anyone appreciated that or not. I thought it was funny. They were like,
Were they on your feet?
no, they were not yet. So, you know, they're not showing any feet in it. So let's talk about social selling tips that rock, Michelle. Like,
Yeah.
you know, one of the big things I think that we struggle through is sharing our stories, right? You know, you and I do that a lot, talk about failure and talk about ways that we've been successful. But what are some of the ways that MSPs and business owners that have done this have been really successful? Can you share any of those? What are your thoughts there?
Oh, absolutely. And I'll double click on this because I had the immortal gift of I was at Cisco for 13 years. I left for several years, and in between that time, I was a consultant. And when COVID happened, I repositioned myself to actually becoming a social selling consultant, where I
Yeah.
worked with thousands of MSPs around the world with the JS group. And we had such a great experience because I didn't have a vendor hat on, right? Very agnostic, very neutral. And here's what I learned. Managed service providers are wicked smart. They have huge technical aptitude. They are amazing at customer experience. They wear a lot of hats, right? So there's a lot that has to happen there. But in terms of marketing, it may not always be the strong suit, or just even repositioning yourself or your brand in that regard. And so, what I've learned, most important, is that you have to figure out what type of social seller you are. And it doesn't matter, you could be CEO of the company, you could be in sales, you could be in marketing. Everybody is selling your vision, your why. And they should be a reflection of your organization. You should all be rowing together in that mission. And there's a few different types of people that exist on social media. The first is the person who doesn't believe in it. I don't want to participate. I don't even download it. I check it maybe once a year. Well, it's
Yeah.
a missed opportunity, right? Because
Right.
we were talking earlier about there's numerous ways you can participate, Facebook groups, even TikTok, but LinkedIn specifically has 725 million business professionals. All of your target audience, your target customers, influencers, partners in the ecosystem are there for you. And if you're not, you know, perceived as a thought leader in that space, you're definitely missing a big boat.
Yeah.
So that's the person who's the, you're checked out. Then the next type of person is the voyeur. I go on every day, I look at everything. I don't like, I don't comment, I don't do anything there, right?
Yeah.
And then the third type of person is the lazy liker. And I'm going to look out to our audience. You know who you are. You
Oh,
go,
come on. You're gonna call me out,
no,
Michelle.
not you per se. I think you're pretty active, but there are the people that just go on, take their morning, sip their coffee, done. And if we're at Build It Live
Yeah.
in July and you meet a great person, an interesting topic, and they say, Juan, what do you think about that? Would you go and walk away? No, of course not. But on social media, to your point, people lose themselves. They lose their authenticity. They lose
Oh,
their brand. And then the final person is the person that is engaging, they're active, they're communicating, they are perceived as a thought leader because they're relevant and they're showing up. And
yeah.
so I'd encourage everyone on the call, if you don't know, click on www.linkedin.com/sales/SSI. I'll get that link over so Tiffany could put it in the chat. That is your social selling index. And
Yeah.
it's a free tool that LinkedIn measures that tells you out of a score of 100, where do you stack rank against your peers and competitors? So looking at building relationships, which most people are pretty good at, right? Are you building good relationships online? The second component of that is, are you engaging with the right connections? If you're only connected to people you work with or people you went to college with or high school with, then you're not going to get the right audience, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be carefully curating an audience that you want to see your content. That's very important. And then the third point is thought leadership, right? So that you are actually engaging with insights, driving content, driving relevance. And there's an abundance of content. When somebody says, like, I don't know what to post, you can find something, anything, or perhaps as an MSP, you get asked the same question over and over again. And it's like second nature to you, but not to other people. In that regard, I would highly suggest that you are leaning in towards what is something that you can share with people, like, I don't know, maybe a video or a blog or an article, something that allows you to connect with your audience. And then the final component, right, is that you're engaging with them, that it's not just one-sided. And
Yeah.
so the people that you talk to are, guess what? It's a reciprocity. If you comment and like and engage with them, then the algorithm says, well, I think Juan likes Michelle and Michelle likes Juan. So I'm going to show him more of her content and her more of his content. And that's sort of how it happens very organically. So the good social seller, according to LinkedIn, is a score of 60, or 65, let's say. Nobody gets to 100. It's very rare. But when I used to coach, I would say you should at least be at 70 or above.
Yeah.
And that's where you're really starting to differentiate from your competition. So if you want to be brave, and I give out that chat, feel free to drop your scores in the chat window and let us know what you are today.
Oh, I don't even know. I want to put my score in the chat. I don't know what mine is right now. It's probably like 40. I'm really good at engaging with spammers. Like that's like something I get messaged constantly by them, and I'm like, I don't know how many more people I can buy crypto, or want to help me grow my business. There's quite a few of those. I am just shocked by the amount of opportunity there. But to your point, one of the cool things, Michelle, I like what you were saying there, because a lot of times MSP owners don't recognize that a lot of what they do can be promoted on social, right? A lot of those customer, satisfaction surveys that come back, and you can talk about, hey, is this what we're doing right? That's affirmation that they could publish, right? Here are some of the things our customers are saying, or here's a topic that we've really, we're real strong at. So, you can post that type of content. Trust
You're
me,
absolutely right.
I know all about that. Like, that's what I had my whole Making IT Simple show about, was about helping making IT easy for people to understand and to help them figure out how to use it in their businesses, right? So I love your tips. I think that there's 100%, uh, that's a great nugget for the day, right? We can check that box. One of
Well,
the
and
things,
I'll give you one more before we get off of that, because this is the one you asked, what do some MSP rock stars do? And
yes,
this one, right? So identifying, I think with anything in life, you have to first understand the why, right? So why is it valuable? It's valuable because there's a lot of people. You can drive your message, you can drive your company's brand and vision, you can connect with the right people. So that's your why. But how is important, and identifying where your gaps are, like knowing what you're really good at, owning that truth, like what you think about yourself is important, but what other people think about you is more important when you're a
way more
business
important,
owner, because good news travels fast and bad news travels faster. So
right?
if you have a great reputation, that will precede you. A lot of companies will say that word of mouth is still their primary way to get business, right? So how many people have a LinkedIn recommendation from a customer or a testimonial on their website? Those are
Oh,
really valuable and important ways to perceive your business. But the other part of that, which is really interesting, and people hate this because, I don't know why people don't like their voice, their video, whatever it is. But IDC had this very interesting survey, and they said that the average salesperson decision maker, or the average decision maker, so a VP, an EVP, a C level person that's going to procure your products or services, they look for up to 7 pieces of content before
mhm.
they even talk to a salesperson.
Yep.
I want to mention that because I like to equate that to the car analogy. Back in the day when we used to go buy a car, it was just the worst experience. You show up to the one dealership that was in your area. The guy would go back and forth saying he's going to get you a good deal, talk to his person. You never knew if the car was in an
Uh,
accident. It just was bad. And now, right? Like, how many people in the line you do Yelp before you go to a restaurant? Or you
yeah,
do look at Prime 4-star reviews before you purchase something on Amazon, or you go to like Netflix or IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes before you watch a movie, because 2 hours of your time is like worthwhile.
right.
So now we are a culture, right? B2C, everything we do is automated, digital, real time. And that transition has still equated to B2B, especially during COVID, where we're like, well, if in my personal life I could be real time and automate it and do independent research, why wouldn't I then do that in my work life? And so your customers know more about you, just like in that car dealership analogy. They know the make, the model, the specs. They
Yep.
looked at Kelly Blue Book. They looked at Carfax. They knew if that car has ever been in an accident. They know what the make, model, and specifics are for you and every other dealer that you compete with in a certain geography. They know that when they walk in, they know what the holdback is, and they're ready to negotiate based upon their terms and conditions.
Yeah.
So, not all of your customers in the MSP world are going to be that informed about technology. A lot of times they look at MSPs as the virtual CIOs
Yep.
or trusted advisor to keep
Yep.
them safe and protected. Like, they don't know what a Cisco Meraki router or switch is sometimes, but they know that it helps them with cloud collaboration, or they know that they can be up and running and that they can have security and they can be protected. So that's the most important part. And if you, as a business owner, know that your customers are doing all this research on you real time, then you would have a very different perspective as to how your business is branded in a digital world.
100%.
Right.
100%. And I often tell MSPs to go and take a good look in the mirror and see what, do that competitive analysis against yourself and look at your competition and what are you doing? What are they not doing? Right? Have you looked at your website? Have you have you really looked and actually said, would I buy from myself? Right? What's
Right.
that? Like that is so big. And so many people are buying virtually, right? 90% of people said in 2024, as a survey that was released by IDC, that their interactions with humans would be far less than they were in any previous year.
Yeah.
What does that mean? They're social buying, right? They're looking for that content, and if it's not in front of them, presented in a way that they like,
Right.
the likelihood is that they're going to walk right past you. And I hear it all the time, where business owners are like, "I'm just not getting any traction," and it's like, "What's your messaging?" And they're like, "I don't do any of that," and it's like, "Okay, well, there's why."
Yeah, or your
Right?
competitors are. So you may
Yeah,
not, but
100%.
you have other people that have taken that shift and made more aggressive terms towards marketing and branding their company, which puts you at a deficit. And that's where companies like Cisco and other vendors, we want to help, right? Like, so our MDF dollars are sitting there, and I'm creating a whole bunch of new MDF programs for managed service providers, because what's important to our big enterprise partners isn't what our smaller partners need. And we want to make sure that we're getting you the right help and the right support and the right packages so that you can be successful. But in terms of that, some people say, well, what were the things they're looking for? It's blogs, it's podcasts,
Mhm.
it's videos, it's
Yep,
webinars,
right.
it's customer testimonials. There's a bunch of things, and feel free to reach out to me. I'll get you that report. But the one thing that was very interesting is video. And
Yes.
so when we talk about MSP rock stars, I would always challenge people that I worked with at the end of the time that we're together. I challenge you to record a video and put it on LinkedIn. And it was like kryptonite. You could have
Yep.
been the best MSP seller in the world, but I said record a video, and people would get nervous. And there's all these things about it. So I tell people, you get a light ring for $20 on Amazon. It keeps
Yeah,
you lit, it keeps you stable. But if you really want to get fancy with it, and you really want to be a rock star, go where your heart is happy. Go
yeah.
somewhere that is very uniquely you. And I'll just give two quick examples. I had a guy who used to scale the Rocky Mountains. He lived in Colorado, and he's
Yep.
from a company called Peak.
Yeah.
And he every time I'd meet with him, I'd be like, so have you recorded your video? And he didn't do it. And then I would say, okay, I'm in your head. Next time you have to do it. And so he scales this mountain during COVID with his family, his two children and his wife. And he gets to the top and he goes to take a selfie. And he goes, your voice was in my head. And he took out the camera, and he goes, what better place to record than right here, right
Yeah,
now? And he started recording the most amazing video about grit. And if
yeah.
I worked this hard on the weekends, imagine what I could do for you during a week. And it was just absolutely incredible. And I listened to him. And by the way, that gentleman had maybe at the time, maybe 1,000 connections. It
Wow.
went viral. 30,000 people saw his post, liked his post, commented, shared, and
Yep.
he started making monthly videos on top of mountains that he would climb, talking about different messages and themes such as grit and
Yeah.
how overcoming complexity and challenges was important, and what they do as a company, and making those really exciting analogies. And so I loved that. And I had people do them in a field of sunflowers. People do them on a
Oh, how
balcony
cool.
in New York City, and they just had really fun with it, right? And if you're that person and you're being authentic to who you are in your company and your brand, that really resonates with people.
Yeah.
And as much as we like automation, Juan, I agree with you. People want automation, but people still buy from people they like. And that
100%.
people, right? Like that human connection. That's what we missed during COVID. So
Yeah.
video makes you feel very human to
Yeah, and
somebody.
I think that in the more that we communicate, and I will just be honest, when I was running my MSP, one of the most viewed videos of all the videos that we put out was when we promoted our customer. And then a lot of people hesitate, MSPs are like, why would I position my customer out on the front end of my business so that somebody else might come in and poach them. And I'm like, look, if you're doing a great job, that customer ain't gonna leave you. But,
Right.
putting out those customers on that front end and really advertising their success really helped other companies to understand what success they could expect from us, which illustrated confidence in our program, right? It was like, hey, they're doing what they say they do there. But Neil Medwed says many websites are created to make the MSPs feel good about themselves rather than focusing on the customer, their challenges, and how they solve their challenges. 100%, Neil. We also had another comment in there from Ann Westerheim. Westheim, good to see you. And why would I buy for myself? That's a good test. And I think you got to look in the mirror. You got to ask yourself that question, and be honest. What is it that your message is conveying to your point, Michelle? I love that.
Yeah,
So,
I think for me, you are absolutely right, Juan, Neil. Like for me, it's all about what's in it for your customer, right?
oh
Like
yeah,
what
100%.
what is the pain point? What are they going through? And how can I take what I'm really good at? And that's the other thing. I challenge everybody listening. I would ask people sometimes, who's your target audience? Everyone. What do you sell? All the things. It's like you can't be everything to everyone. So I
Right.
would take that look, right? Like, where is your sweet spot? And it's not that you can't grow, it's not that you can't diversify. Look at a company like Cisco. We've been traditionally enterprise, and now we're engaging in this wonderful space, which is more small to medium business and managed service provider. That's a pivot as a company, but it's something that we acknowledge is something that we haven't conventionally been good at. We're putting a lot of effort, energy, attention, and resources to make it better. But maybe you, as an MSP, are like really good at cybersecurity and networking in mid-sized clinics in upstate New
100%.
York. And
Yep.
if that's your sweet spot, then that's your demographic, and you should be targeting those other healthcare facilities or manufacturing or retail or finance, whatever it is that sort of resonates best with your customers. You clearly hit a nail with that message or that customer base, and you should explore that. You should understand more about that.
And I love where you're going with that because, to your point, anybody that's getting traction is focusing on all the things that they solve with their program, right? And again, back to you are the product, not the product you sell, right? So the more value you bring as who you are and illustrating your success, you don't have to worry about what everybody else is doing, right? Or worrying about publishing your customers or even your price list. It's about, look, here's our authentic us. This is what we do. This is how we deliver it, and that's the measurement of success. We're delivering success to our customers, and our customers are saying it works, right? And that's that inspires a team. And before I get into that, I want to ask one thing here because you brought it up earlier and had me dying. I've been thinking about this, Michelle, and I just can't jump the hump on it. I just cannot get over this TikTok thing. I want to do one, and I mentioned it, but we might have to do one together. You have done one. Even
Uh,
if you don't
yes.
know, your TikTok almost went viral as well, right? I mean,
I so one of the things about me, Juan, which you'll know, is that I have little shame in my game. And so I'm all about living my authentic, genuine life every single day, professionally, personally. You're connected with me on LinkedIn or Facebook or in person. It's what you see is what you get. Like, I'm
yeah,
very, very true to that. So yes, I have done a few TikToks. Tiffany has shared the social selling index chat. Make sure you take your test, see where you stand. Let us know if you're brave. Thank you for sharing that. But I for sure, I love TikTok. Now for business, I don't know. I have a few friends, Heather Margolis at 360. Shout out to
yeah.
you.
Shout out to Heather.
Trying innovative ways. Clubhouse was a big thing for a minute. We ran a
Clubhouse. Yeah,
Clubhouse app that sort of went away. So what we need to really think about is what are some of the places that you go, and Gary Vaynerchuk, who spoke at last year's, is your keynote
yeah,
speaker,
Chris
right?
Phillips.
He's one of the best people at talking about early adoption. He
Yeah,
sees something coming and he's in. He's investing, buying it, he's creating his user ID. It's about never being late to the game. it's always being an early adopter. Now, I will caution that you can't be everywhere, and especially if you have limited staff to help maintain and
Right,
run
right.
this. But you can use apps like Hootsuite, and many vendors have companies that can help you do this. Or I like to say, you can hire somebody cheap and cheerful, right? There's a lot of people that are interning. They need to get their foot in the door, and they have great skill sets out of college or in high school that could really help your business. Give them a chance. It could be mutually beneficial. And you might find some new hires that would be great when they graduate. So that's something to consider.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I even mentioned I was thinking about doing a TikTok. Tiffany was trying to twist our arm to do one at Build It. We'll have to see if we actually can coordinate one. I'm a horrible dancer, so there's that. I might have to just do
I'm a
something
great
like,
dancer, so I'll teach you. But if you want to see Juan and I do a TikTok at Build It, drop it in the comments. We'll take a vote.
oh, you're gonna put me on the spot
Yeah,
like
we're
that.
gonna peer pressure him into it because I feel like it's gonna be
And
amazing.
how about you and Cam? Cam's an amazing dancer, right? Cam, like,
I'm all in. I'm all in, Cam. If you are, I am. And but Juan, you have to be in the middle because we'll be your backup dancers.
I'll just kind of like, yeah, like, yeah, I'm horrible. My wife is like not happy about my dance moves. That's for sure. That's
Oh, if Eli Manning would do one with us, Tiffany, we'd be all in. Let's
I
be clear.
actually would probably, okay, he probably would do it, and then it would go viral.
And growing
Neil
up in
did.
New York, a Giants fan, let me just say how thrilled I am that you have Eli Manning coming to Build It. This is so incredible. You guys get the best speakers. It's going to be so amazing. I'm so
Yes,
excited.
I cannot wait. The whole Eli Manning partner experience is going to be amazing. That meet and greet is going to be absolutely out of this world. Cannot wait for Build It. Let's review our trivia question, Michelle, as we're kind of hitting the halfway point here. Me and you could talk all day long. So our trivia question for the day is for those that are joining us, a chance to win 2 free tickets to Build It. There'll be 2 lucky winners today, maybe more if we're feeling generous today. You never know. So what is it, Michelle? What's our trivia question?
Well, I want to drum roll. Should we do a drum roll, please? I would like to congratulate the first two that I saw
Oh,
put it down.
wait. Don't give it away yet. We got to ask one more time. We still want to ask because we're not done yet.
Okay. Are we going to give away more?
We
I'm
might.
so excited. Okay. What is the name of Cisco's new MSP mascot? I'm not saying they're right. They could be wrong.
Okay.
We don't know.
Let's put it out there. I want to ask one more time because there may have been people that came in late. I want to give them a shot, and we might give away a few extras today. You never know.
I
So,
love your generosity.
oh, well, it's all about giving back to the community, which Cisco has done so great. And I thank you guys for everything that you guys are doing. I'm looking forward to having you at Build It Live 2022. That's coming up July 27th. We're less than 30 days away. Can you believe it, Michelle?
No, life is moving quick. I do
And
feel
apparently,
that.
yeah, well, and apparently now we have to do a TikTok or something. So like I thought I was busy already, but now we really have to figure it out. So that being said, one last thing is we kind of circle back. We got a lot of great content coming at Build It. You're coming. We have so many amazing people. There's so many great people in the chat today that are talking about it. We're looking forward to having you guys. But let's talk real quick. Obviously, it's all about community. And I want to just dive into this real quick before we have to go here in a little bit. But how do you leverage and what are some of the things that MSP Rockstars are doing from a community perspective and how can we help each other?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about the ecosystem, right? Like our partnership is not just a vendor and a customer. It is who we work with, who we partner with, like partnering with the amazing team at your company, at
Yeah.
all companies, right? Like we have to come together and really just put aside any sort of like selfishness. It has to be agnostic. That's why I love that Build is all about education, right? Because to your point, all boats rise evenly when you have the ability to come together to share insights, to share best practices, to express your challenges and how you can overcome them. That is so valuable and so needed, especially, as we enter a very new and different world post pandemic, right? I mean, we are And it's not gone. I still know people getting COVID, but I feel like we're kind of at the end of like it's more mild. We are feeling healthier. We're coming together. We're making things happen. So we're kind of seeing some light at the end of that tunnel. We're moving to a place where we know that companies had to reimagine their people, their process, their technology. They had to go to market differently. Prior to COVID, 55% of employers said you cannot work from home. And
Right,
overnight that changed. So
right.
everything changed. And that adoption wasn't short term. And we see that one of the topics we're going to talk about is culture, right? And the employee resignation,
Yep,
the great resignation, as it's being called. And what you learn from that transition is that if people can work anywhere, anytime, then there's this unique ability for you as an employer to hire anyone around the world that's the right
100%.
fit for your company. And there's an opportunity for you as an employee to say, I have the pick of the draw. I can work for anywhere if I have the right skills and the right aptitude and the right knowledge and the right EQ and IQ. So
Right.
I think, in terms of community now more than ever, MSPs are the best example of that. Like I joke, like it's a big family reunion when we come
Oh, yeah.
together. And Cisco, we're showing up at 32 events that we haven't gone to in 10, 15 years, if ever. And we're saying, we're on the map. We're here to support you. We want to sponsor and educate, listen and learn, participate, be a part of those communities. And so if you haven't seen us, you will. If you have seen us, come say hi, join us at our booth, get some swag, hang
Yeah.
out. Let's go to dinner. Let's have a conversation. Join our keynotes or our breakout sessions. We have 3 breakout sessions at Build It. So we hope you join for those. Very different. Talking about the 5 tips to help MSP succeed. We're going to also talk about social selling, and we're going to have a panel on new, whatever age or stage you are as an MSP. If you're just getting started and you're in the infancy, or if you're in the stage where you're going through mergers and acquisitions, or somewhere along the way, we're going to talk with a panel about key ideas that are relevant and important for your success of that managed service provider, regardless of your age or stage. So you don't want to miss those panels. They're going to be really exciting. But I would challenge everyone here listening, and I would ask you to say, like, how are you showing up to the community? How are you helping? Right? Because I believe in reverse mentoring as well. I think
Yeah.
everybody has a superpower. There's something that you're uniquely gifted at, whether it's as a company, as a human, as a team, that you can bring to the table. And so I have a very diverse team of younger women, which is amazing. And I challenge them. I learned something from every single one of them every single day. And I would say that we always have to continue to learn, regardless of whatever position we are or stage of our career. And so community's most important feature is that symbiotic relationship where we're giving and getting from each other, whether it's tools, products, technology, human connection, mentorship, what have you, right? That's probably the ideal portion of it.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, and I think to your point, one of the big things there, one of the key takeaways I enjoy as well is showing up, right? It's being a contributor, right? That's how you get out there, and for many years, I've shared all the things that worked and didn't work in anything that I did, and I think that that's how you really, help everyone else rise to that new occasion. So, no more lazy likers for those of you that are out there. As you said, Michelle, I'm gonna coin that, Michelle Magusic's term. The lazy liker. I love that to death. So,
It is so true. But I mean, like, I challenge everyone, if you see something on LinkedIn, and you should be going on LinkedIn at least once a day, I mean, put it on your calendar, carve out time, half an hour. And if you don't, if you, it's like exercise, right? You can't be like, oh, I went to the gym and I ran a 5K and I worked out one day. Do I have abs? Is that how that works? It's not how it works. It happens slowly over time. It's a progression, it's an evolution. And
yeah,
so you need a foundation, and then you need to build it. And over time, you become great at it, like anything else, right? Like it's
I
just
don't
that
know. You start
evolution.
somewhere. It's often a lot of people say, "Juan, I can't do that," and I'm like, "You know what's funny? Neither could I when I started."
Right.
and you just got to do it. You just start somewhere, and then the next thing you know, then you can't stop. Like me now, and me and you, we can talk all day now, Michelle.
I think that was
So,
I actually I'll tell you a funny side story. I climbed to the top of the Blarney Stone. I had a 2-week old and I had like literally I had a 2-week old baby. And I scale and I'm terrified of heights. I get to the top and I give my baby to my husband Jay and I lean over and I kiss this Blarney Stone. And I said, "What do I get?" And they said the gift of gab. And I said, "I did all this work. I already have that." So
my wife had never heard that term until recently. I was like, "Yeah, you've ever heard of the Blarney Stone, And she looked at me and she goes, "What is that?" And I was like, "Look it up." And she goes, "That's why you know what it is. Did you go and you were messing around with that Blarney Stone? That's why we can't turn you off." So, hey, but we're having too much fun. I honestly, we probably should have wrapped this. We should have got another hour scheduled here. But Frank Riamondi says we have to do the TikTok.
I'm with
I
him.
don't know, Frank. I don't know. We may pull you in on that, buddy. You watch what you ask for on that one. But Misa says she can't wait either. So these are great comments, you guys, and it's amazing. I love the interaction in the chat. So let's
Yeah.
talk about it. We had our trivia question of the day, which was an easy one for those of that jumped in the last time and maybe have seen it around. But Michelle, let's talk about it because we're going to announce two lucky winners here in just a second. What is our trivia question for the day? And
Yes. So our trivia question for the day is, what is the new Cisco MSP mascot's name? And his name is Buddy. And so the winners are Neil and Anne. And if
all
you see,
right.
I'm really excited. And so, by the way, I'm dropping in our message, our partner journey. This is our new partner journey that we created. And prior to this, oh, and Frank, yes, and Frank won as well. Amazing. So wonderful. So what we would say is that the biggest thing is we're going to have and Frank, you're already a sponsor, so if you want to pass yours on to somebody else, we'll let you.
Yeah. We see you, Frank.
But let me just say that there is this wonderful opportunity to check out our partner journey. It's basically a one-stop shop of Cisco's options. Like, it's hard to navigate a 73,000 person company. And so we wanted to consolidate. At one point somebody said it's like we were giving out IKEA furniture without the directions. That could be confusing for those of us who build IKEA furniture. So this is like your single source of truth. You can help navigate, you can get around, you can learn what our portfolio looks like for managed service providers, from Rocky to Umbrella, Duo, our collab offer, Cisco Business. How do you get started in the provider program? What are some of the trainings we have? And just a bunch more of fun information. But Buddy is your AI robot who's going to help you navigate that. And if we have a little bit more time, I'd love to see if the audience has any questions for Juan and I on anything that we've discussed.
We
I feel
did
like
leave
it's been
some
really
time.
fun and interactive.
We did leave some time here for questions, that's for sure. And Anne, congratulations again. Thanks for the chat there. She says, great, thank you. And we want to say thank you to everybody. But yeah, questions for the community, right? This is what it's all about. It is giving you an opportunity to ask questions. So if you want to ask me or Michelle anything, put it in the chat. We'd love to see what your thoughts are. Or if you have a song that you think me and Michelle should do as a TikTok.
Yeah, no, definitely that. So, but as we're waiting for those questions to come in, I want to talk about experience a little bit too, because I think that is so important. And I call it the triple X. And again, that's not what you think. It's the partner experience, it's the customer experience, and the
Yeah,
employee experience. And I think for years as companies, we focus on one part of the one leg of the stool. But now more than ever, it's so critical to focus on all three legs of that stool if you want to become successful in what you do. And we go back to customer experience, branding and the way that you look at information. I ask people when I do my keynotes, sometimes I say, how many of you ride a stationary bike or
right.
used to, but use it just to like hang clothing on it to dry? Because that's what I did, right?
Oh,
And now you have a Peloton. And then
yeah.
how many of you have a Peloton? And now it costs more money and you have to pay a monthly subscription. And yet I use it every day. It's the same concept, but what changed. And really, it's the experience. They've automated, they gamified it, they made it
Yeah,
more digital. I have a leaderboard. I can compete. I can race with friends. I can choose my music. The experience is so much better that I'm willing to pay a premium price for it and a monthly subscription because the value of what I get on the back end is so rewarding that at the end justifies the means for me. And so
absolutely.
when you look at your experience, right, as MSPs and vendors and partners, you have to think about what is it that I am providing. And then, moreover, and we talked about this one, but I do want to call attention to it too. When we look at the great resignation, think about when we started and when we would work, and some of you are localized MSPs and you may all go into the same office together. At a company like Cisco, my entire team is remote. We all work from WebEx and our team meetings are done through video conferencing. And I think about, as a new hire, when I started in 2005 in our global academy, what it felt like to come into an office and walk into your cubicle or your desk and ask a question and go to the break room and have a conversation impromptu that we can get to know each other better professionally or personally, and then going out to lunch as a team or doing bowling as an
Yeah,
offsite. You don't get that as much with
right,
the remote area. And so it is so critical. If people, when they say they leave, a lot of times they cite that they don't feel connected to the company they're with. They don't
right.
feel connected to the purpose or the mission. So I'd highly recommend, if you do sit separately, or even if you sit together, you take time to get to know one another. You have some fun together. You go do a Habitat for Humanity and build a house for people in need. If that doesn't make you feel good together, then I don't know what will, right? So you can do a lot of different things, whether it's volunteering or having fun or going out to eat or doing an activity, but making sure you invest that time with your partners, with your customers, and that you really redefine the value of that you're bringing to the table, especially in a leadership role, because you set a top down for
Yeah,
everybody that you engage with and interact with, and people will follow your lead. So I think
yeah.
that's important.
We one of the big things I think you said there, and one of the key takeaways is even when when you're thinking about it, ask yourselves, what is your customer's experience? And I would say, like, even in the quarterly business review, how many MSPs are actually asking their customer, what was your experience with us, right? What you need to get some sort of active feedback. Otherwise, if you're not asking the question, you're almost asking them to leave because it's almost like that key indicator that you don't really necessarily aren't paying a lot of attention to their customers' needs and wants and fears, right? So I love where you're going with that. I encourage others to do those simple things because some of the unlocking points that all of a sudden, as soon as you stick that key in the door, there's so much stuff behind it that you're like, whoa, I didn't realize that was there. And it also helps the employees, right? Because that's active feedback loops, right? To that experience is like, here's how we're making an impact in this customer, and here how your individual contributions have been able to either create that customer success or that opportunity. So I love where you're going with that, Michelle. I 100% agree. And you know me, I'm an X guy too. So like it's on my chest right here. I'm all about customer experience as a service.
I love it. Yeah, I couldn't imagine not having that sort of collaboration. And that's part of, what we love about even coming out to events and being with our
Yeah.
community. As much as I love social selling and digital marketing and automation and all of those things, right? Like, I joke and say I'm on the last year of Gen X and the first year of millennial. So I'm a genial, right? Technically. And so I grew up with a typewriter and a beeper. And then I worked through like Atari, and then I've seen the evolution of technology over
Yeah.
years of time. And went on to becoming an engineer and do a lot of different things with tech. But and I'm also a passionate supporter for getting more women and diversity in technology, because there's not
100%.
enough of us and we want to do a lot more of that. But I have daughters now, two daughters, two stepdaughters, who were raised with technology.
Yeah.
And I laugh because I literally have a 6-year-old who, from 3 years ago, tells our AI Alexa device to sing her lullaby or read them a bedtime story. Or they can Chromecast onto our television, YouTube for kids. And
Yeah.
it's just built in with this age of technology. And so there is this shift, right? And we have to be very cognizant of the shift that's happening with Gen Z and millennials taking over the workforce. How does that impact how you brand your business and market as well? Because they prefer, let's say Slack to
Yeah.
email. They prefer texting to phone calls. But
Right.
there is this element of face to face that, regardless of any age or stage, is still so important. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about the events that we attend, is
Yeah.
that time that we get together, our teams get together, our partners get together, and we get to actually get to know the human behind the role, right? You're not just Juan Fernandez and your title,
Right.
but you're, a human being, and this is who you are as a person. And that is where I think the most important um, a link between every age still is that human connection remains paramount.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And to your point, we are all human beings, right? And it's all about building meaningful relationships. And that's one of the things we need to lean in with when we're having our conversations with our customers. A lot of conversations that I had were about 5 minutes of here's what we're doing with your business. The rest of it is here's how we're improving your business, right? And having those real open-hearted executive conversations of I'm your partner to move your business forward were so much more meaningful, and then that turned into like golf trips and fishing trips. And there's a couple people on here like I enjoy, we spend time together, right? We go fishing and we go doing a lot of different things, but it's all about creating those meaningful customer relationships. And again, to your point, we can learn something from Build It, right? Not just and what Build It is. Let's just think about all of us that are thinking about going to Build It, which again, thanks to Cisco for the awesome discount. Today we have a discount code, which is Rockout 200 that you guys gave as an additional contribution on top of the free tickets, right? So for those that are registering, but look at what Bill is doing there. I mean, you get the people, we're learning about each other, we're educating together. How are you taking that, just that outside shell of what Build It is, back to your customers, and how are you empowering them through the learning that you're getting just from that? And it's all about the people. It's all about making meaningful connections. It's all about, understanding and getting that deeper uh, relationship built. And I think that oftentimes as providers, we think we can't get close to our customer because that's a danger ground, and it's not. It's actually the best place to be. Like, I love when my customers call and they're like, "Hey, man, you wanna go on a fishing trip?" And I'm like, "Sure. We need to do financial work on financials for a little while, but all the rest of the time, we can go fishing."
Yeah.
Right?
I
So
love it. Yeah. And that's how it should be, right? Like it should be that relationship. And that's where you say, people say, "Oh, I don't want to spill all my candy in the lobby," right? Like if I put
sure.
out my secrets out there, what will other people say? Well, let's be honest. At the end of the day, there's similar products at similar price points from similar or different vendors. And
Sure.
so you're not competing on, a nickel here or there. You're not competing on, certain things that are not valuable. You're competing on your brand as a company that is reliable, that is the thought leader, that has the expertise, the responsiveness, the ability to actually feel like I can trust you and entrust my business to you. And that's where I think that there's this unique element of feeling like you have the connection with the right person that can help you at the right time,
Yeah.
regardless if it's a vendor partner or partner customer or anything in between. You want to feel that somebody has your back and they're supporting you. And so with that in mind, I think that there's this just unique opportunity that a lot of customers can take to really just solve for what they need to be successful. And in that right, you are the experts. You're great at doing what you do, and you should have the confidence to humble brag and tell the world, because that's where you're going to get that perception out there and that relationship with your partners where they feel comfortable enough to entrust you with their business and their fish.
I 100%. Well, I don't know if they're trusting me with their fish, but I will say this. every one of you that are here with us today, you are all MSP rock stars. And you just need to tell people about it. Trust me, I can tell you this 110% from my own heart, from my own experience. Michelle has mentioned it a number of times. It's all about getting your message out there. And it's really all about you. And it's about your program, the success that you deliver with your program. And then you just need to go and take that good look in the mirror, and you and your team can smile the next day knowing you did a great job. So I'm looking forward to talking about these people that are on this message today about MSG Rockstars the next time we chat, Michelle. But unfortunately, I think we're almost out of time. Like me and you just get through it though. I mean, I love talking with you. It's always so much fun. I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing each other a lot together throughout the rest of the year, and I'm excited to see you at Build It. Your 3 sessions are going to be amazing, and I promise you, I will be there rooting you on the whole time. But you got
Better
a
be.
panel. You got that panel. Let's bring up that panel because there's a lot of people that may want to register for that pre-register. And Tiffany, if you wouldn't mind putting up what's the panel real quick, Michelle, that you're running?
Yeah. So the panel, in case you missed it and joined late, is What Women Want. It's Not What You Think. And this is an all inclusive women and men panel. We
I'll be
need
there.
everybody there. We need allies. We need everybody to be a supporter in this discussion. And we're going to talk about diversity, inclusion, the benefits, the financial benefits, the retention, and a lot of things that are very interesting, right? I think if you're running a business, I've had a lot of great conversations with a lot of people who say, I want to find more women, more diversity in my business. I don't know where to look. Well, we'll help you with that. We'll help you figure out some of the secrets, the tips and tricks, and give you some real life feedback and stories from an amazing panelist. Plus, there'll be mimosas and breakfast. So you
Oh
don't
yeah.
miss a great start to the day. I'm all in. I can't
I,
wait.
I can't wait either. I will say there, I can't say enough about that. I am a champion. I am an ally. I 100% agree there should be more women. And I think we should be thinking more about that. I think we should be considering any meaningful ways that we can come together, men and women, to actually benefit the world as a whole. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm making sure to register. So for those of you who are out there, make sure that you're registering. But also, we're looking forward to seeing you guys build it live 2022. Jersey City, July 27th through 29th. You get to hang out with me and Michelle. Cam, love you guys, everybody that's been in here today. Thank you for the interaction in the chat. You guys are all rock stars. We may be doing a TikTok, so you might want to get on the bus. We could be having so much fun. Cam's coming, and so we'll make sure to see all you wonderful people there, and we can't wait to see you again. To all the MSP rock stars, keep on rocking. Thanks, Michelle, for coming, and we'll see you guys at the next one.
Love it. Rock on, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you